And I want to welcome you to another week, a week that has been buzzing, a buzz, 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 a week that's been absolutely buzzing. Another week of 21st Century Rocker Mom podcast with me, your host, Tanya Candler. And I brought my special friend with me today. My co-host today is going to be the person who has gone through this journey of Yellow Jackets and knows the buzz, who's been straight to the Hive with me from the beginning, Rob McCallum.
Thanks for having me. I'm honestly really excited. You've been planning a Yellow Jackets episode for a little while now, and I've been wrapping my mind around the show. I don't want to give any spoilers away because I know you have some specific talking points, but I will say off the cuff, it is one of the few series that I was interested in going back almost immediately to watch the episodes because you can tell that there's a lot of metaphors at work, a lot of allegories, a lot of symbolism. There's just some layers there that are so evident upon first viewing that you don't need like a cipher to figure it out. You don't need the internet conspiracy guide to like, oh, that's what that means. It's like, it's rich. It's a tapestry.
No, you're already like the wheels are immediately turning. Like
yes,
the immediate when Today by the Smashing Pumpkins, for instance, just started playing like in the pilot. Like spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this before, don't listen to this episode. We're gonna fucking ruin it for you. We're gonna ruin it for you and your whole fucking family.
Do you got your quick one-liner description of what Yellow Jackets would be if people haven't heard it, so they can hear your description and then pause it and come back?
I just think it's a girl's, not even girls. It's just like it's a baptism into something completely new. It is like man versus wild. It's human versus wild, and it's kind of what happens when those things, when the humans versus wild kind of go together. Like it's almost like a nature versus nurture story.
Nurture for sure. I think there's a
lot of things I could say about it, a lot of like comparisons that I could make, but it's definitely a nature versus nurture story.
Yeah.
Basically. In a lot of ways.
Versus against, absolutely.
Yeah.
Society. Oh, there's almost a little city mouse, country mouse.
Yeah, it is a little city mouse, country mouse. Poor old city mouse. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you got to survive, right? It's like, I mean, some of these people would be hanging out with like Survivor Man and some of those survival programs that like I like so much on the Discovery Channel, and some of them would be falling through, a crevice in the ice and just like dying because they just couldn't help it. They're useless.
So to rewind the tape, of course, and I know you've talked about it on other episodes, but Yellow Jackets is about a group of girls, high school girls,
yes,
that have a plane crash that ends up somewhere in the wilderness.
But these are like the golden girls of high school. You got to remember, these girls are like untouchable. They're soccer players, state champs, and everyone really respects them. They kind of have a lot of clout at school. They're kind of like, if you saw Grease, they're like the pink ladies, the Yellow Jackets. It's like a real coveted thing.
It's time to grow up, though.
It's time to grow up.
You know what? There's life outside of high school, and they're going to see just how tough life outside of high school can be.
So we're going to go to these state champs, and we're going to be adults. But on the way there, oh my God. We're going down like Leonard Skinner style, like in the fucking plane. Like you're seeing it all. Like you're seeing it all in the pilot episode. You're really not, right? Like as you start seeing the.
But that's why it's effective.
Yeah, exactly. So you see the kind of the end of what's going on, almost like, oh, your dad rented a plane, and then there's trouble. So as soon as you start the second episode, that's when the plane crash starts happening. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is before we go through theories, I've got all the notes of just kind of what happened on the episodes for you. I'm not going to recap them for you. I'm just going to go on some of the talking points that I kind of have theories about, and maybe you do too, because I know you do.
Any show that gets you to think about theories and try to connect the dots is kind of a good show. Mm-hmm. Like most shows, most good TV can get you excited for the next episode. But if you're still thinking about the way things are said or alluded to, or those little musical notes underneath when somebody says something, and does that mean something?
Dude, I'm still thinking about Twin Peaks from the first time it came out. Like when I was young, Twin Peaks came out. When we were young. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to get to when we were young later, because that's something that's also been buzzing on the internet, is this when we were young emo festival.
That kind of topic's on fire.
It's crazy. It's on fire. It's crazy. 2.0. It's crazy. So we're gonna get into that. But like when I was young, like I'm still buzzing about Twin Peaks, and that's like one show I really got into, and I could talk about forever with like allegory and symbolism, and you could literally talk about it forever. Yellow Jackets, I now is another one of those shows that's so brilliantly written and well acted. There's just like such a group of talented women and strong women. I love the characters because they display so many strong women, and in where a lot of other television shows would have these women really marginalized. They had them as like strong, like ass kicking characters, and just like go girl. For
me,
girl.
what works about it all is to see how closely tight-knit they are as a soccer team. Because basically there's two storylines. The past, during the plane crash in the wilderness.
Yes.
And then present day, where some of the characters are so far. Mm-hmm. And what I love is the chasm of difference between not only where they were in the past and where they are now, but the chasm between the characters in both spots. Because some characters are really close and then drift, and you see the drift, and then you see other characters together in the present, and you see just how different they are, but then at the same time you also see how similar they all are.
I'm still my teenage self.
They're just all spun in different, like if you took a Rubik's Cube and shook it up and all the colors were everywhere, each of those main characters in the present day is just as jumbled as the other side.
Oh yeah.
No matter if you see red, green, or blue, what order, like everybody's spun.
Oh yeah, but in the greatest way possible. Yes. They're all just like the greatest characters.
Delectably, deliciously spun.
I'm horrible because like Shauna is my absolute favorite. I resonate with her so much. I think she's great.
I resonate with her, and I'm a dude. I just love her.
It doesn't matter what you are. I love her character. I love Melanie Linsky, like just as an actress, like completely. Then I saw that she got fat shamed for the show, and I was kind of like confused, and I was like, huh?
Yeah.
Like she just looks like a normal like lady to me.
She looks like an acceptable human to me.
She looks like a regular person. So I was like, she got fat shamed about what? But then like I saw her cast members like were standing up for her, and I was like, again, go girls. Like, so this is really a cast of strong women. So breaking it down, going into episode 1. So when it started, like, it's the 90s, like I say, like they're the golden girls of high school. They're the untouchables. No one can touch them. It's kind of like a flashback before the crash, kind of when things were good, and kind of showing them how much, like, showing how much, like, they kick ass, like,
what life was
in
like
town, what was like
before the crash,
and what life was like in 1996. It like absolutely stuck your ass there, like,
without having to say 1996. Like it does literally say it, but it's not like look how 90s it is.
It didn't put you there. It
doesn't
just like
need to be.
No, it wasn't so over the top that it put you like. The costume designer and the set design was amazing.
It's so organic, and the performances and the writing are so strong that you never feel like you've been wedding singered.
No.
Where it's like in Wedding Singer, when Sammy shows up with like the Beat It jacket and the Michael Jackson glove, you're like, oh, well, that's an 80s reference.
Well, that's 80s. Oh, yeah. Michael Jackson. Yeah, exactly.
This is just organic in the background, and it's acceptable. It's like when we talked about Empire Records.
Yeah.
It just felt good.
It feels the same
naturally,
but like that was like our age group, because we grew up like in the 90s and stuff like that, and we had Smashing Pumpkins, like, and like I say, it opened with Today, and I was just like, oh, what a great opener. And then, like, I mean, Doll Parts was in that episode too, right? Like the Hole, like, I mean, like I grew up a lot, like Hole, and like Smashing Pumpkins and Hole were bands that I saw like when I was young. These were bands that I went to go see. These were bands that I would go to see now.
The soundtrack of high school.
The soundtrack of my life, for crying out loud. I mean, I listen to this stuff now. Like,
yeah, but you remember in high school, like you remember when those albums came out. You remember going to Sunrise or Sam the Record Man or HMV.
Yeah. Oops. Oh, couple goals.
Because you had to get, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. You had to go get
Siamese Dream.
Or Live Through This or whatever. Gish. Because you discovered this, you had to go back to the back catalog.
Yeah, exactly. You had to go more. Exactly. You had to go hard, man. So that, like, the music in just in the pilot alone, I was like hooked, lined and sinkered. And then I got the characters, right? You get the basic kind of, the kind of, like, you're seeing the basic kind of cookie cutters of what you've got there. Like, you got kind of like the rich girl who's messed up. You got Lottie. You got, like the girl who's not from a family that's probably too nuclear, I would say. Nuclear. No, just kidding. Natalie, you know what I mean? Like something's going on at home. Something's wrong. You know what I mean? We got Shauna, she's really quiet. She's got this best friend who's basically talking for her. We got Jackie, you know what I mean? Yeah. We got Taisha. Oh my God, she's like strong as fuck. We've got Van, another strong, like character, strong as fuck. Like she's the goalie of the team. Like she just like takes no shit. These girls are like bouncing soccer balls off their fucking heads. Like just they're crazy. I
love that there's literally kind of like all walks of life, and it isn't just like the pink ladies, the well-to-dos. It isn't just the socias.
No, and they're not all team, like just like white women.
Yeah, it's everything.
White, and straight, boring women.
And instead of it, like you said in another episode, checking a box.
Exactly.
There's a reason for all this. You got different belief systems that come into play too. You have a girl who's very Christian and Catholic, and not like she doesn't hide it.
Laura Lee lets it right out.
Yeah,
Laura Lee just lets out and everyone's like, you know what? She's like, I want to pray before the soccer game. And there are a lot of girls that may not hold her belief system, but
they respect her, so they go through it.
Let her pray. Exactly. And like, there's a lot of people that may not hold a lot of belief systems of some of the other like ladies that are on the team too, but they respect them, and I think they know and they're aware of them, and they just don't say anything because they're cool about it. But does it mean certain belief systems were not disrespected in 1996? No, because we still had the same problems that we have now. And I'll get into that later too. So they go, basically it just tells the story of these girls that something happened and they were in the woods for 19 arduous months. What the fuck happened there? Nobody wants to talk about it. And then we get into episode 2 where the plane is literally going down. And it's like Lord of the Flies meets the fucking Babysitters Club, because holy shit, this motherfucker's going down. Mm-hmm. Like this plane's going down. There's like fires going everywhere. It is like there's like heads flying everywhere. It's worse than Leonard Skinner. Goddamn.
The shot that bothered you is the shot I love the most. And it would be what I would do too, where Shauna leans over Jackie and opens the window.
She opens the window to look out.
And you just see like the horizon line like rise as the plane kind of drops. And I would have done the same thing too, because I have to do that when I'm on a plane and I'm landing. I have to watch.
This is why I hate flying. And it's like
you're like, why would you look? It's like, because I would need to know what's going on. I don't want to be startled or
the
jarred.
worst is because you look and you hear the trees all ping, 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 hitting the fuselage, right?
Yeah.
Like just the noise plus knowing like where you were hitting. I wouldn't want to know. And then like fire starts coming from the plane and like the engines are on fire and there's like
fuel and all that. Yeah.
Jet fuel. Yeah, exactly. Like they tried to empty the engines, like bless them. But it's bad. And there's, the heads are going everywhere and there's people exploding. And of course, they get out, the ones that get out. And like Van is left in there to burn alive. Poor Vanessa, like holy shit. Like she's just left in there to burn completely alive.
Not that Shauna didn't try to get her out there.
But Jackie, of course, who speaks for her and does everything, just pulled her out of there. You got to get out of here right now, Shauna. Let's go. Let's get the fuck out of here. So, I mean, poor Van. See you later. You look like Freddy Krueger. You really gonna leave you in the boiler room here on the airplane.
Yeah,
to just die and just burn to death. Bye. But I mean, she gets out magically. Thank goodness. I like her so much. I think she's adorable. And she's just such a strong character. I love her. I hope in the next season, that Ginge is adult Van, and she's like a fucking ass kicker. But I have like another theory about that later, because she certainly is an ass kicker in this one.
Theories.
But I mean, this episode, Misty, my favorite crazy ass fucking nurse.
I think she might be my favorite. But I say that because there's something I like about all of them.
Goddamn Misty Quigley, that twisted ass bitch.
She's so spun.
The best kind of Misty is the cocaine kind of Misty. But like I'm saying, if you know, you know.
You know.
That comes in another episode. But I'm saying Misty Quigley takes the coach's leg off with a fucking axe and then like binds it. Like that's why I say this is Lord of the Flies meets the Babysitters Club, because she takes like what she learned in Babysitters class and just like bandages up his leg and she just gets the bloody stump. It's like, and then flash forward to her seeing Natalie. Natalie's just gotten out of rehab, and it's just like she's like hello, Natalie. And Natalie's just like, hello, Misty, you crazy fucking bitch. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Back where they left off. They haven't missed a beat.
Exactly. I feel like some friendships just never
Which, of course, is Juliette
stop.
Lewis and Christina Ricci.
Yeah, and they're great playing opposite each other because they're just so completely different.
Yeah.
That it was amazing. Go to episode 3, like Dollhouse. So the girls kind of debate the age-old question, do 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 do, should I stay or should I go? So do they stay at the crash site or do they leave the crash site? Do they like wait for certain death at the crash site? Because like they know the cavalry ain't coming right now. But can they move? Can they move with old Stumpy? Like the coach who like just got his leg cut off by crazy Misty.
Old Stumpy, Ben.
Yeah, I know, but Ben got his like. I'm sorry, Misty fucking bludgeoned him to death. Like
She saved him. Because not only did she chop the leg, she cauterized it too, right?
well, she made sure everything was cool and he wouldn't get gangrene. Yeah. We wouldn't want any limbs falling off
like,
now.
let's talk about like Misty's role on the team before the crash and after. Like she was laughed at, pushed aside.
She was Bobby Boucher, like big time.
Like basically assistant sub ball girl.
Well,
head
she was
coach.
made fun of. There's a scene where she's made. When you and I talked about this, she's made fun of on the phone. Some girls call her and they prank call her. And what do they say to her?
They ask her. She's like, "Oh, you want somebody to do anal to you."
Do anal to you.
I gotta tell you, it wasn't until I graduated college before I heard somebody say that in a subway station in a city that's larger than the one we live
I knew
in.
what it was, but no one ever said do anal to you. Just like do anal, like not do anal to you. It's just like such a funny way to say it. But anyways, they said something to her on the phone. These girls are making fun of her on the phone, and she said something really telling to them right in that moment, and it was
I'm gonna botch the quote, but she says something to the effect of there's a wilderness between knowledge and ignorance.
Yep. And there was
That's
like
Voltaire, I think.
Yeah, and the girl's like, oh, you're so weird because they're prank calling her being bitches.
But of course, where do they end up? In the wilderness. And do you have the knowledge? Or are you ignorant? And the difference between the two is vast.
It is. So I mean, these girls, they vote, and they figure it's dead by dawn, so they better get the fuck out of here. And speaking of dead by dawn, they find like a fucking Evil Dead cabin like out by a lake, and it just happens to be abandoned. And there's some blankets and shit in it, and some weird
and tons of supplies,
weird cult shit, ammo.
It's
guns.
Like, and again, this is the whole layers upon layers. The too good to be true kind of thing, where it's like,
TGTBT.
What are the odds?
Like, where would you find all this shit? So, I mean, a few of them can shoot. Natalie can shoot a gun like a motherfucker. I mean, you find out, like, later on, I mean, Natalie knows a lot about guns. She's seen some shit in her life. I mean, not good. And then, I mean, this one, obviously, we see Adam. I mean, we've already seen Adam rear his head in these episodes, and Adam, I mean, has been a very present day, very interesting character. But we see in episode 3, we see him get shot into a full blown affair at a hotel. It starts, it begins, and just like that, he gets her into bed, and
But that's because
it's a book club.
She suspects that Jeff has been doing the same thing night after night.
Going and counting inventory at the store, and who was Jackie's high school boyfriend and things like that, and who she's subsequently pregnant with his baby.
And you still hate Jeff.
Oh yeah.
You're not on Team Jeff. Although he does have some pretty good moments that are very defensive, Shauna.
But in episode 3, they find this weird bear carcass in the woods. And it's like dead already.
It's rotting.
And it's already rotting. And there's a quote from the coach, and he says, they're like all like, what could have killed this? And he says, wolves can kill anything if the pack is big enough. And that, I think, is a really telling quote there from Coach Ben.
Yep.
Because wolves can kill anything if the pack is big enough. If there's a big enough, if there's a big enough group of anything, if anything is big enough in a group situation, it can absolutely take over something else. And that's really scary. One wolf pack or one group of things, one group of absolute solidarity can take over another. And I mean, it's a really scary thing. Like if you've got that amount of solidarity, and you've got that amount of driving that solidarity, and you've got that force behind it, that's a scary force. So saying that can destroy anything, that was a telling quote from Ben, I think.
I think so too.
I think.
There's a lot of discussion about teamwork and roles on the team and who's good at what, and they quickly had their role on the soccer team, and then they have to adapt to a new role to survive in the wilderness. Shauna's the best with a knife. Nat's the best with a gun. Other people are good at foraging. Other people are good at cooking.
Certain
and
people are born like leaders too. Like, I mean, like Taisha really takes she's a really good leader. She's just born a leader. And I mean, she takes that. She's
also polarizing though.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She is. And then, I mean, Lottie, I mean, Lottie some of the beginning, the first scenes, you can see that she's taking an antipsychotic. Now, I don't know if it's because she needs it. And a lot of people need things for their mental health, or her parents are giving it to her to like dumb her down and like get rid of her personality because her parents are rich and they're assholes and they don't want to deal with her teenageness.
Yeah.
And so they just medicate her. So I don't know if that's actually needed or what. So when she's coming off her medication in the woods, because in episode 4 in Bear Down, I mean, Natalie has her flashback. And this is why I say Natalie's so good with guns. She has her flashback to when her father passed away. And, getting in a fight with her mom. Her dad subsequently falls on like a rifle basically and like blows his fucking head off.
But this is the thing. It's not that she's good with guns. I think she has an affinity and a love for guns, where she sees guns as a form of freedom and escape. Because it allowed her to get out of
herself,
the situation that she was in with her parents.
Yeah, the gun was an exit. I mean, she didn't kill her dad, but it was an exit strategy and an exit situation because he was fucking horrible to her and her mother, really. Like, he was a horrible person.
He had it coming.
He did have it coming. A big time. And sometimes you just get your head blown off. So that explains a lot. Taissa telling the money donation lady, like when she goes, it's present day, Taissa going to that political sort of ball.
Yeah, she's running for state governor, I think. And she basically has to meet a benefactor who can pull a lot of strings for her. And they have a quiet moment.
And this lady has got like the biggest like white savior complex like ever. And she wants to donate all this money. And Taissa basically just tells her to go fuck herself.
Because
it's amazing.
Because there's 2 points of conflict for the show for every episode. It's what happens in the past and what's happening in the present. Because everybody in the present, won't talk about what happened in the past.
No, and no one wants to talk. As the audience,
we are waiting for it to unfold so that we can understand.
I mean, they've even got that reporter following them, and they got Jessica. We got Jessica running in the background, trying to goddamn find out everything that she possibly can, only to be subsequently to be kidnapped and strapped to a bed.
But she's a ploy anyway, set up by Taisha to make sure that nobody's still talking because she's running for office.
Exactly. Taisha wants to make sure that everyone's got their lips zipped. She doesn't want everything told about because she's running for office.
The show works so well though, because you don't know what either of the questions are, like what did happen in the past and what is happening in the future. People have been comparing the show to Lost a lot.
Yes.
Again, that's strangers on a plane that try to figure out what they're going to happen on an island, and every episode flashes back.
Now this is people that know each other.
And every episode flashes back, but it doesn't have the tension that this has.
But what I think what's weird about episode 4 is Lottie, right? Like Lottie is starting to see things that aren't there in the forest. And Sammy...
Or are they?
And Sammy, Taissa's son, present day, is starting to see things that aren't there, or are they as well? He's seeing things out his window. He's talking about a woman. He's seeing things that bother the dog. There's this dirt in his room. What the fuck is going on? Like, he's seeing shit that's really not there.
Again, the difference between ignorance and knowledge. And there's this veil of stuff that's happening literally beneath the surface. And when the veil is thinnest, like at night in particular, what is truly unfolding and what is going on.
And more things are like unfolding with Adam. It's getting weird. I'm like, Adam.
He's like perfectly showing up at times with all the right answers.
Is this like a weird Adam and Eve like creation story? Is that where this is coming from? Adam, is this where it's coming from? Or Adam, are you Travis's younger brother?
That was my theory.
Really?
I told you that. I told you that. Well,
it could have been.
We went to bed the other night. I'm like, what if Adam is Javi? The age fits.
What if he is? But like, you know what I've said, and no one wants to go there. No one wants to go there. I'm going there. What if Adam was searching like for his mother? I mean, you've done it. He searched for his mom. And I mean, he didn't really realize too bad they found her. Like he found her.
So your theory is that
Adam has the Oedipus complex. What if Adam is a motherfucker? Like,
because
what if
Shauna, they discover that she's pregnant when they get trapped in the wilderness.
Exactly. So, and she's about, she would have had to have the baby in the woods, and they're coming up on their high school reunion. It's, 25 years since they've all been together. He looks like he's about that age. I don't know. I don't check IDs these days. I don't know how old. What if Adam literally is a motherfucker? What if he's Oedipus? Ah. Like, seriously, no one wanted to say it, but I'm saying it. Adam
is the original Kentucky Fried Baby.
He might be. Oh my God. What if he's the chicken that they eat in it too? Like, I mean, Adam could be a lot of things. He could be a rotisserie chicken. He could be the motherfucker. He could be Oedipus Rex. He could be Javi. Adam could be, and honestly, Adam could be like a nothing character to throw us off the scent. Adam could just be like herring, weird glitter boy. You know what I mean? Adam could just be glitter
There's
boy.
something sus with Adam.
He's sus.
There's something about him.
Let's vote him off. Let's vote him off.
He was
voted off. Episode 5. Oh my God. It's time for a fucking period party, because guess what? Everybody's on the rag at the goddamn same time. All the girls get in sync with their periods. They're surfing the fucking crimson wave, except for Shauna, because she's up the duff, because she's pregnant with Jeff's baby, Jackie's boyfriend.
Okay, and again, I think this is another example of the synchronization of the menstrual cycles, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And all the psychological stuff that happens.
But when girls get together, I will tell you, like, even when girls go on tour together, their periods will sync. It's the weirdest thing. Their hormones get together and everyone surfs the crimson waves at the same time.
Let me ask you, as a man who hasn't experienced this.
Of course.
Is there a heightened sense of awareness or emotional stress or physical awareness that isn't normal when this time of the month happens? This is what I've read.
It is, and yet there is, and when you're with other women and it's happening at the same time, it's insane. Like, it's insane.
So again, we're having people that have antipsychotics because there's certain mental faculties working different ways.
And different mental
We have sleepwalking happening with other characters as well.
Exactly. Sleep, different behavioral
And now
stuff.
we have the synchronization of this.
Hormonal things. We have the moon going.
Again, but these are all like
us.
a rewind to nature, right?
Yeah. And
these are very primal things.
Absolutely. Like, women have been getting their periods forever. You know what I mean? Like, the women are bleeding. You know what I mean? People like humans are bleeding now. I mean, like, not only women are bleeding, like, but these girls get in sync. And when you get in sync with your periods, and cramps and everything like that, I'm going to say it's fucking horrible. Ladies who bleed and people who bleed and anyone who gets their period, you know what I'm talking about. You're taking hormones to get that period. You're going through the hell. Yeah, I know what y'all going through. It fucking sucks. Fuck that period. God damn. Fuck. Alice Cooper was right.
He was wrong.
He's
wrong because he says only women bleed, and that's not accurate these days.
Everybody bleeds and everybody hurts. You know what? REM was right. Everybody hurts. It's true.
There you go.
Alice Cooper, you were wrong. I'm so wrong. I'm sorry. No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more Mr.
School's out. Okay, back to what's going on.
Exactly. Now, so Shauna's daughter sees her out with Adam while she's wearing Jackie's weird, buzz outfit and that weird Shauna out. She's just like, let's go home. And she's like, Mom, who's that? Whatever. So, I mean, Travis gets some photos revealed that Misty's got her hands on, and it kind of looks like he's been murdered by a cult. They find out that Travis is dead. They kind of go looking for him, Misty and Natalie, and they're very sad to see that he's dead. Like, he's hung himself somehow in a really weird way from like a tractor crane sort of thing.
Yeah.
But there's like the symbol around that they use in the woods for the girls that they keep seeing on trees, and it's all over the place, and it's all over hashtags now. Like, it's the symbol. It's the symbol for Yellow Jackets. And I mean, so then we get to episode 6 with the Saints. Lottie's prescription has fully run out, and ultimately Now she's really seeing shit. And this leads to Lottie baptizing her. Or not Lottie baptizing her, Lottie's baptism by Laura Lee. Laura Lee kind of talks her into baptizing her. So she baptizes her in the lake. And Laura Lee's got all these visions of flying this plane. She's been reading this manual with this Cessna.
Lottie's the one with visions.
But Laura Lee's been having visions about flying a plane and her grandfather in the war and how he couldn't read and how he looked at this manual and he could fly this Cessna plane and he just was so great and he was a hero and she had all these spiritual epiphanies that are coming to her. So Lottie's been having these visions. So she's thinking, you're spiritual too. Let's take you down to the lake. Let's ride the snake to the lake, baby, Jim Morrison style, and dip your head down in the water. So she waded in the water, children. She dipped her under and fucking shit started going down. Like, Lottie saw a lot more, than I think she bargained for.
Red skies and rays.
And rivers of blood. And that was a foreshadowing to, what was going to happen with wolves and things like that. So that was kind of scary.
But even before that, there was the talk of it won't let us leave. There's a presence here that's keeping us here, like the person who was in the cabin.
It wants us to be here. It wants us to do this. It wants us to.
So I'm wondering what this presence
third parties,
what this force is, this natural phenomenon maybe, and what's the price that has to get paid for them to overcome it and return to society at the end of the 19 months, because we already know that they were only there for 19 months. I think season 1 has them in the wilderness for 3 or 4 months tops.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, we know that was the duration of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we keep seeing flashbacks. So when things were a little bit more primal and things were a little bit more civilized, kind of things like wearing their fur, because obviously there was a big snow that happened at one time. We can see some blood in the snow and traps and all kinds of things.
And according to the timeline, they'll have to go through 2 winters.
Exactly.
I did the math on this. So they crash land between September and October, and they're there for 19 months, which means there's 2 winters coming for them.
Exactly. So they're going to look at starvation and all kinds of things. I mean, and this episode was the kind of first episode where Taissa kind of really displayed that she was still really hiding her relationship with Van.
Yeah.
Because they were very much in love and with each other. And this just went to show you how much that homophobia still existed and it isn't a new thing and did exist in
Do you think it was homophobia?
90s.
That's the reason they were hiding it? Because I
Absolutely.
picked up on something else. They just didn't want to come out with it yet.
I think it was homophobia. I think they were afraid of it's just another flavor of homophobia, afraid of what other people would say, ashamed of their relationship. And that's they're afraid of homophobia, the reaction to their relationship. Okay. They're afraid of feeling different and being made to feel different. And I think that the good thing is the other girls kind of already knew.
Yeah. It was okay, obviously.
When they finally figured it out, they were just oh, we kind of already knew. It's we're friends, kind of we already know.
Yeah.
That's how it kind of was for me, growing up. But there was homophobia in the 90s, I will say for sure that existed, that I saw. I wasn't a part of it, but definitely I saw a lot of it. And it definitely happened. Episode 7 came, no compass, starvation's coming, the wilderness is coming for them, the winter is coming for them. The girls, in present day have got $50,000 in a bag because they're getting blackmailed like crazy. Someone is fucking with them, someone's sending them notes, someone wants money from them. No, they fill a bag with duffel bag. They just fill it with glitter and odds and ends and little tracking device. And they want this person to pick it up. So things are getting crazy. They're chasing a robber around. They've got all the girls calling each other and they're just, there's craziness. So Lottie, like we say, she's been seeing visions and she saw the red smoke and the red river. And then all of a sudden there's a goddamn wolf attack because Van is now...
Okay, but let's back up to the glitter bag, okay?
Okay.
Because I think it's really interesting that after everything that these people have been through, these 4 survivors, Shauna, Taisha, Misty, and Nat,
the ones that we see
in present
right now,
day,
yeah, present
are
day,
so clumsily meandering through how to deal with this blackmail. Like, well, we'll just get a tracker. We'll put it in the bag.
We'll just put a tracker in the bag.
Maybe we'll figure it out.
Spy
Like
tech.
They seem almost infantile compared to the obstacles that they're trying to deal with in the past.
Oh, I know.
And I find that interesting.
Oh, I know. They're just like, well, we'll just put $50,000. Like, can you
like
guys
they can
get it
do all
together?
this other shit, but when it comes to like dealing with this bully,
and this like
essentially,
stalker person, it's like, how do we deal with this? How do you deal with a stalker? Like, what do you do? It's like, okay, well, like, deal with the stalker, figure it out. Don't bully them back. Just figure a way to deal with the stalker. Like, why would someone stalk you anyway? Like, get a fucking grip.
Yeah, grow up.
Like, really. But then, like, speaking of stalkers, but wolf attack. The van without a face. Van gets fucking
Thanks,
like
Mel Gibson.
Thanks, Mel Gibson. Yeah, like literally.
The van without a face.
The van gets fucking attacked because Taisha falls asleep while on watch, finds herself up in a tree.
And then she becomes the van in the leather mask.
Oh my god, she does become the van in the iron mask. She gets everything done to her face. She gets sewed back together, like Humpty Dumpty back together again. She becomes mankind. And it never stops coming.
And she's Van Wilder.
She is.
That's her van life.
But like she lives. But I mean, they almost light her on fire and give her a Viking burial. Again, almost another death by fire, Van. Sorry, we almost lit you on fire because we thought you were dead. And she was just
but
like,
think
hey,
about
guys,
it this way. It's all these very like powerful like natural forces that are like coming after her. The fire, the wolf, the fire again.
The fire again.
But even like the fear of her own nature, like you're suggesting with the homophobia, it's like she's like constantly at odds with nature.
Yeah, like is she get this barrage of shit coming at her all the time? Like her character, I have so much sympathy for her character because it's just like, what the fuck? How much more can
even
this
her
chick
mom,
take?
again, odds with nature. Her mom's like passed out, like
she's like, Mom,
drunk on the couch
wake
or
up.
something. She
You
can't
need
even
to just drive me to school. Like
again, odds with something that is supposed to be natural for her.
Like natural and should be there and should be nurturing with her. Again, nature versus nurture. There you go. Episode 8, Flight of the Bumblebee. And like Shauna does a little cyber stalking after her daughter brings to her attention that Adam has no online presence. He's got some social media thing.
And this is where it's like, if it wasn't too good to be true already, because you just want to follow a story because you're like want to know where it's go. Now it's like, this is totally sus.
Oh yeah. And then after that, if that's not enough, Laura Lee decides that she is going to be Amelia Earhart and she's going to take this Cessna out and she's going to, everyone kind of, kisses her goodbye. Coach Ben like begs her in episodes previous, like, don't do this. This is not a good idea. You're not a pilot. You're not a trained pilot. Let's just wait here until we get rescued. We got some meat and stuff like that. We can figure this out. Come on. She decides to let Jesus take the wheel. She's going to take her teddy bear with her and she's going to get up there in the Cessna plane. And she gets up there and she climbs and she gets above the lake and it's a beautiful, momentous moment. And then all of a sudden, her teddy bear fucking lights on fire and Snuggle Bear goes up in flames. And goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Guess what? Oh, Donna. Richie!
Yeah.
Laura Lee blew up like a motherfucker.
But again...
Second plane crash.
But again, this is like the whole like country mouse, city mouse thing where like, this is technology. This is a man-made invention. This is, man should not be able to fly without wings. There is a force here keeping these people visceral and primal and grounded in nature.
Why didn't they build a raft? There's all this water around them. Why didn't they build a raft and try to go
I'm sure it's coming.
You know what I mean?
I'm sure it's coming. They're going to explore every way to get noticed.
You know what? But Laura Lee blowing up. Speaking of things blowing up in that episode, in episode 8 is where we saw a glimpse of cocaine-induced Misty. And that was a horse of a different color.
Misty Cocaine Quigley.
Holy crap. I mean, like, they found out that Travis's bank accounts were closed after his death. And I mean,
immediately,
Natalie was having a hard time with that. I mean, and she was turning to substances. And of course, creepy Quigley had a little...
Quigley.
She had a little owl camera set up in her hotel room. Saw that she had like an 8-ball of cocaine, which is like a lot of cocaine. A lot.
Trying to stop Nat from OD. Who's been in rehab twice.
Dude, I've seen Cops. I know how much that shit is. Like, that's a lot of blow. Okay?
I've seen Cops.
It was snowing up in that.
What you gonna do?
That was like Scarface level cocaine.
What you gonna do when Misty
So Missy
comes
just like
for
sees
you?
it and she's just like, no. That was a king's share of cocaine. That was a lot.
And
that
then
was
she just pushes all the other stuff around the room. Like she could have done that to begin with, but she just like did the
like
line
she could have just
instead.
like gotten rid of it.
Yeah.
Why did she like snort all the cocaine? Well, anyway,
Because it was there.
I've never even done cocaine before. Well, now you have, and your heart's probably going to explode. So that was not good, but that was great. Oh, episode 9 was the doom coming, obviously.
Instead of homecoming, doom coming.
And
Because why not have a party in the forest?
Because the doom was coming for Adam, because after Shauna, grown-up Shauna, present-day Shauna, confronted him about having no presents and then kind of calling him on the carpet, finding a little treasure in his drawer and finding out that he knew about the plane crash, something about the plane crash. She just decided she was just going to treat him like one of her little rabbits and fucking stab it. She's like, a rabbit, I'm going to grab it, I'm going to stab it, and she gutted that motherfucker. And then I've got, what about your friends? She called her friends. I got a problem. I fucking killed somebody. We gotta,
my teacher
like literally, we gotta get rid of this body. We gotta do this now. So of course her friends are always there for her. But it's doom coming. It's fun. And it's everybody's favorite prom celebration, except, you know what? We're gonna not be wearing prom dresses. We're gonna wear some hides and some horns. And
no,
we're
that's
gonna have,
later though. They do wear prom dresses.
Oh, they
They all
do.
brought them for the awards ceremony that was supposed to happen at the national.
Oh, they
soccer
wear the
championship.
regular prom dresses, but it just gets a little bit twisted. I mean,
And
let's
again-
have some mushroom soup.
I was gonna say again, another mind-altering substance, and that's tied to nature.
Exactly, another mind-bending thing. So Misty in her luggage had some hallucinogenic mushrooms. She had like a lot of them too. Like I looked at the amount she had. I'm like, who are you planning on drugging? Like that girl had a lot of drugs on her for someone who was supposed to be so like straight edge. Holy shit. Like, are you a nurse or are you like the Colombian drug cartel? What the fuck is in your suitcase?
Misty Escobar.
She's totally Misty Escobar. So she like, where are the mushrooms? In the soup. Everyone eats the soup except Jackie, I believe.
Yeah, because she wasn't around.
Because she wasn't around to have any soup.
Again, power in nature.
Absolutely. Everyone has the soup. And so, I think Natalie's the first one to feel it because she kind of sees the trails, right? And if you've ever taken magic mushrooms before, and I did when I was younger, I'm just going to say it right now, definitely not the smartest decision of my life. Natalie, you can see, is seeing like the trails, and she's kind of with Ben, and he kind of knows what's going on. And mushrooms can sometimes make you really truthful and give you an honest conversation. He comes out of the closet to her and kind of tells her that he is gay and that he has a partner. And she's just like, I'm so happy for you. And they're just having such a nice moment. Mm-hmm. And it's such a duality moment, because I think and even Van and Thaisa, they're having a nice moment together. And everybody's kind of like on mushrooms and feeling kind of good. And then everything kind of just like turns around. Jackie has sex with Travis. And then it's like the doom coming begins. Like Lottie decides she's going to drag fucking Jackie's ass, like drag her ass, lock her in a closet, but not letting her know, like before letting her know that she's completely fucking useless now. Like she even has a line that like you're not needed anymore. Like you're useless now. Locks her ass in a closet and let the doom coming begin. They're going to get fucked up in the forest. It's time to get primal.
Well, before even that happens though, like Travis is in the cabin and they all come on down.
And they're all just like, hi, Travis. I hear that you lost your flower today. Is that more flower? And they're like Pikmin. They just want to just pull his petals off and take them.
Very culty.
Very culty. Like usually it's like the other way around with like men with women, right? Like, but
you
this
know
is
what? Mother Nature.
Exactly.
Mother Nature.
Mother Nature, female form. This time, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to violence. This time, it comes in female form.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Well, and I think there is that allegory again, right? Nature versus man.
Exactly.
Very much in this case.
But why not nature versus woman? You know what I mean?
Well, it's not nature versus woman. Because woman is nature. In
exactly.
This. That's why it's like
it's the duality. It's what's against what's gonna be stronger, right?
And then they drag Travis out and they tie him up and string him up, and Shauna's got the knife to his throat.
Yep, absolutely. And we got the antlers. The antlers are worn, and Lottie's wearing the antlers and saying, it wants us to. It's okay. It wants us to
Emulate it.
And she's speaking of this, supernatural force or whatever it is. We'll find out what it is. We don't know. We'll figure it out. I have my theories. Again, now we have the finale, like the 25-year, let's go back to high school. Let's go sit around and drink boring punch. I mean, Thaisa wins her election, so that is good. I mean, after sending her family away and nothing good happens to their dog. They have the reunion.
You love the shot when they walk in, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because the offspring plays and everyone's just kind of like looking at them. And even their husbands are just like drunk. And like Randy's sitting there like a drunk fucking idiot. I mean, that could have been your future, Shauna. Aren't you so glad you said no to that? Oh my God. And even Jeff, though, like that's your future. I mean, and there's no book club. Like, come on. I mean, like.
No, Jeff. There's no book club.
There's no fucking book club. But I mean, like, they got to clean up Adam's death. That's hard. Jackie dies. I mean, and no one cares.
Can I just say that this whole show, it's very dangerous to be a guy?
Oh, absolutely.
If you're not being killed and strung up, you're being kind of like symbolically castrated.
Well, you find out that Jeff's the one who's been like fucking her over for money, her and her friends. So that's not cool. So fuck Jeff. I honestly, I wish Jeff would like freeze in the wilderness.
But he also got his comeuppance because Shauna had an affair as a result of what his very suspicious activity was.
He thought it was a book club.
And he truly probably does love her because he was doing this for her.
Yeah, and their family.
And them. And, he just went about it the wrong way.
But you don't blackmail someone that you love and you don't hold money over their head.
Well, he didn't do that to her. He did it to her friends.
And subsequently her. Well, because she was involved, right? You know what I mean?
But we also find out that Jeff knows everything that happened in the wilderness because he took the diaries and the journals that Shauna
saw
had been
everything.
Keeping.
Yeah. So, I mean, they got the reunion. And, I mean, Allie's there. And you saw Allie in the first episode. She got her leg broken by Ty. Through no fault of her own. And just, she didn't get to go to the Nationals. So she made kind of a montage and a spectacle of the girls at...
They're true champions.
The true champions for surviving this 19 months. And no one knows what really went on out there. And stuff. And, seeing, these shadows of these girls' teenage selves and, these girls that peaked in high school. It was kind of sad.
Again, the chasm of where they were and where they are.
Exactly.
The dichotomy.
It was it's sad. It's what do they have to do? Redeem themselves now because of what happened in high school?
It's that age-old question, right? When you're up against the wall, it becomes crystal clear about what's important in your life.
Yeah.
So when you get into the wilderness and it's about surviving, what's important? Being the popular girl?
No.
Or being the one who has useful skills.
Be solid. Have solidarity. If you're in the woods, solidarity is important, not popularity.
Or opportunity.
Yeah, opportunism in the wood.
Opportunism will always come back to get you.
Opportunism will fucking kill you, especially in a survival situation. Being the opportunist, seeing either the glass full or the glass half empty or whatever, drinking that glass is going to fuck you and every one of your teammates over because survival situations, especially like this in the woods, are a team situation. Then they're you go into it as a team. And you know what I mean? When person breaks that chain, you saw what happened in Yellow Jackets.
Yeah,
somebody turned into a fucking popsicle.
You drink that glass, whether it's half full or half empty, you better know what you're getting into because now you've consumed it and there is no turning back. So you better watch your back.
So, I mean, with all the mushroom trips and everything else, I thought it started almost with an Adam and Eve story, not just meeting Adam with Shauna. I thought the Adam and Eve thing was a girl being pregnant in the wilderness. I thought that was very much like a creation story. What is going to happen while the girls are in the wilderness? Is this going to be a creation story or is this going to be a survival story? What's going to happen with the pregnancy? What are your theories with Shauna's pregnancy?
I think it's another complicated matter where they're going to have to deal with what nature throws at them.
Okay.
You know,
I mean,
and
she's already tried to
sometimes
get rid of the baby. She tried an abortion.
I think sort of.
A last ditch coat hanger in the woods abortion.
If she gives birth to the baby and it's a boy, it'll die
Mm-hmm.
because men die in the show.
Mm-hmm.
They don't stand a chance. I think if it's a girl, this might be the person who's truly running the cult in the present day.
Okay.
If she survives.
Interesting theory.
She gives birth and they think that the baby dies or they terminate it, but maybe Lottie keeps it alive.
Do you think that maybe
and it's a revenge plot against everybody?
Maybe do you think that it's like it's stillborn and it is rotisserie chicken baby?
It could be anything.
Okay.
Maybe that's the sacrifice that this entity needs to leave, and that's the big secret that everybody keeps. But I think everybody has to pay a price to leave, so I don't think it's just on Shauna. So does everybody have to give up like that love of their life, like Shauna's baby is hers?
Exactly.
Does Taisha have to give up Van? What does Nat have to give up?
What's everybody's sacrifice? What is everybody giving up?
They were together, so
exactly. So they had something good. I mean, she was with Officer for Good Boy for a little bit. I think they had a little bit
Kevin,
of her and Kevo had a bit of a
high
sex.
school puppy love.
Yeah, they just had some sex. I think they just had fun. Some sex. It was just fun. And I'll tell you, like what's with the rabbits? My theory with the rabbits is that like I think that because Jackie died, I think this is coming in the next season, that she, like Shauna, gives Jackie's parents replicas of rabbits. Oh, Jackie loved rabbits. Because Jackie was an insufferable bitch and she has to go to these insufferable fucking birthday brunches every fucking year. And I think she skinned her like a fucking rabbit, just like she skins the rabbits in her garden and fucking guts them. And I think she, carved her up and they probably fucking ate her. She was already frozen. I mean, let's face it, fresh meat. And she gives her parents that rabbit thing as a reminder of how sick that she actually is in her mind. And it kind of ties her to that because Jackie was pretty shitty to her, like right before she died. She was just like, yeah, fuck you, leave right now, Sean. And she's like, you leave. And everyone's like, she's like, she had sex with Jeff, and everyone's like, and who cares? Like, you're useless. Why don't you leave? So she goes, sleeps outside, shows how useless she really is, cannot start even a fire, but is too stubborn to come in, too stubborn to admit, like, hey, I was wrong. This isn't going to work with all of us, without all of us as a group. Like, this is a fucking non-fire festival. And then she freezes to death, and she's Popsicle Pete. Way to go, ass.
Well, I think the rabbits are a little bit more foreshadowing of the problems and really the infestation of things that you can't get rid of until you basically step up to the plate and rid it yourself. These ladies are always going to have these problems creeping up. You can't run from your past. You can't pretend it didn't happen. You can't pretend it wasn't there. You want to keep like the veil of silence around everything. There's going to be another rabbit that comes in your garden.
Now
you can pick them off one by one, but it's still going to be there.
I wonder if Jackie's death, because Shauna found her, is going to cause post-traumatic stress disorder and premature labor or anything like that. And I wonder if that's going to have anything to do with the baby, because she looks like she's about 4 or 5 months gone.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's about 4 months or so.
Yeah, she looks about 4 or 5 months along, as far as I know from gestation periods. I don't know what teenagers look like when they have babies.
She had trouble getting in her dress.
Yeah, she's had to squeeze in, poor thing. Oh, because she has a tummy.
She slept outside while being on shrooms.
That poor kid has no chance anyway. It's all mushroomed up. But I'm just saying, it's crazy. I think so. With the Lottie being on off the antipsychotics, it's hard to tell whether her theories are she's actually yeah, I think Lottie,
is she
personally,
the prophet, the avatar for this thing?
I think she's the antler queen. I think she is going to be some kind of grown up, goddamn Bullwinkle fucking cult leader, barking orders down from jail, Charles Manson style, to her followers, who I think Van is going to be one of. I think the girls that are alive that made it out or didn't make it out, that stayed there and made a cult with her or whatever they did, what your theory is. Because your theory is what? That Lottie did what?
I think that Lottie's running a cult. She refused to go back to society And she's basically still living in the wilderness, pulling these strings. And I think she feels compelled to bring everybody back to it.
Okay.
I think that these people that got out, Nat, Taisha, Shauna, Misty, Travis, all paid some sort of price, but escaped wrongfully, and they shouldn't have. And I think Lottie's bringing them back.
I hope that Van's some of the muscle with that. I hope that she's still like badass as fuck, and I hope that she's gonna come and she's gonna be like an enforcer for it, because now they've got my sweet Natalie. They've kidnapped her. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know. Misty putting whatever she put in those cigarettes with Jessica was amazing, because as soon as she lit up a smoke, because at first I'm like, she cut her brakes. As soon as she lit up a smoke, I was like, oh God, she put something in those cigarettes. I'm going to guess it was like fentanyl.
Yeah.
Or carfentanil, or one of those things that they put in small things that kills people fast. But that was bad. Like carfentanil, that's like Astroworld style. That's like what was on like Bill's at that Astroworld show, where they were passing around and people were snorting cocaine and fucking dying.
So it happens at large musical festivals that are understaffed and are prepared for thousands.
That's fucking crazy.
Of people.
So going on to that. So honestly, this week I'm going to talk about crazy shit, because I've been getting a million messages and a million DMs about this When We Were Young festival. And I'm turning 39. So this is not when I was young. I'm turning 39 on Monday. It's my birthday. I don't historically get super excited for my birthdays, because sometimes they're a letdown. Sometimes they're a not. We'll see. 39 is going to be a fun year, I think.
You're valued. You're important. I love you. Lots of people love you, and I wish you felt better about your birthday.
Thank you.
You deserve to have a great day. Not only just a great day once a year, but every day should be good for you. You should have at least a moment where you feel super happy.
Yeah, I know everyone should have one of those. I know that. And I mean, I'm not worried about getting older. I think I'm getting older with like a lot of...
Getting wiser.
Yeah, I think I'm getting older with a lot of... Wise ass. No, but I think I'm getting older like every year with like a lot more like grace and things like that. I really think that I'm thinking about things more laterally, thinking things more through in a bigger direction. I see a bigger picture now. And I've been getting a lot of DMs about the Kitty playing on the When We Were Young festival that is going down in Las Vegas in October. And it's like, hey, are you playing the bass for Kitty for the When We Were Young festival? And the answer, I mean, the short answer is, I'm not even going to the grocery store right now. So no, I'm not. I won't be joining Kitty for that festival. So you heard it from me right here.
But you can see why, because you've done a couple live chats with the girls, so people are reaching out. You've been celebrating
exactly.
Spit,
We've been hanging out and things like that. We celebrated Spit. We've been celebrating like accolades in Kitty's career and like doing fun things together. We did a live stream. So, I mean, totally, I see why people are reaching out. For me, I think personally, the When We Were Young festival is, I would really encourage people to use extreme caution if you are going to this festival.
I don't think it's safe. I'm going to say it, okay? I do not think it's a good idea. Their Live Nation does not have a great track record as of late.
No, these are the people that...
People know Fire Festival from those there's several documentaries on there now. This has nothing but disaster written all over it. Like, I hope I'm wrong.
I hope you're wrong too.
And I hope that
I'm
it's
wrong.
a smashing success and everybody, gets what they want out of it.
Exactly. Like I have lots of people I know playing it, and I have people that I know going to it, and I'm genuinely worried about them.
I'm worried for everybody that we know that's a part of it, and I'm worried for the people that we know that are going to attend.
Yep. And
I hope I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, then it's good. But if I'm right, that shooting happened in Vegas 5 years ago.
Yeah, and it's just like it's a big place where there's a lot of people. They added a second day. All of a sudden, there's like it's $12,500 if you want a cabana. People are spending money. They're already getting like accommodations. They can't get tickets. I don't think it's fair to fans. Like for me personally, I don't think it's fair to fans. For me also, it's an emo fest. So not that I think anything's wrong with emo. For me, I don't think it's really like a bill fitter, and maybe Emocron will happen. Who knows? I just think
next variant Emocron.
I just think that with like the cabanas and the tent, it's giving me Fire Festival vibes, and the fact that it's a Live Nation thing, it's giving me some kind of like major like Travis Scott vibes.
Yeah.
There's a buzz on the internet where it's kind of like 50-50. Some people are like, fuck yeah, I need to go to the concert. This is the concert that I need to go to. And other people are like, I can't justify this amount of money. I can't justify this amount of money when in my day it was called Warped Tour. It was $50. It was 3 days long. There was, a bunch of bands. Yeah. It was fun.
I just haven't seen anything that puts my mind at ease about how they're going to handle all this.
They just haven't come out with any logistics yet. And I hope they've given them to the bands. I really hope they have. But you will not see my fucking ass near When We Were Young Festival.
If you go, be safe. Like you said,
please be careful.
Use your brain, okay? Careful about passing stuff around, taking stuff from strangers, bumping into people.
Exactly, like buddy system.
If it sounds too good to be true.
It probably is. It probably fucking is. And you know what I mean? And just like that, you got to be careful. And I would like to see...
be really careful with things like that.
I'd be very careful with things like that.
You got to be really careful with
some serious things happened last night.
Serious things.
And just like that, a show I know that you know that I enjoy, Rob enjoys, last night on Just Like That. Don't let me down, fucking Miranda. Wow. But you do every fucking episode. Poor Steve.
They should have just called that episode Poor Steve.
And again, spoiler alert, he's not made many cameos and appearances this season.
It's like 3 or 4
but
tops.
He got divorced. He got broken up with last night. Miranda wants to go and be with Che. And well, first, Miranda and Che have been hooking up, if you have been watching and Just Like That. And they really like Miranda. And Miranda and them have formed a really special relationship. And Che's all about not hiding who you are, because for the longest time, they downplayed their personality and downplayed their queerness and downplayed who they were, and they were miserable. And now they came out and they're happy with who they are. But what they don't like and they didn't appreciate was Miranda not being totally straight up with them and saying, hey, I'm in a marriage, like I'm not available. So when Che found out that, they flipped. And like Miranda apologized to them, but Che was still really pissed. And I agree with Che.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed too if I found out like the person that I've been having sex with for the last 3 weeks was
thought
married.
Miranda was in an open marriage, and then they discovered that wasn't the case, and then they were betrayed.
Because they're like,
Miranda didn't know how to
that's not
react.
an open marriage. Yep.
Yeah.
So she didn't know how to react. So Miranda went home and she dumped it all on Steve's head and broke up with him. And poor Steve's just sitting there being like, she's like, I just don't want any of this. And I literally felt bad for him. Like, I want Miranda to go out and live her best life. But I have a feeling that, like, when she goes to see Che, who knows what's going to happen. And, you know...
which way do you think that storyline is going to go? Is it going to be, like, sunshine and roses?
I don't think it's going to be happily ever after.
Is that because you hate Miranda as much as I do?
I think that what she's doing to Steve is shitty. And I think what she did to Che is shitty. Like, she got with them and she led them on and made them fall in love with her. And, like, Che's, again, like, all about not hiding. And here's Miranda, like, slinking away from, like, an LGBTQ to, like, rally about not hiding who you are.
Yeah.
And, like, Miranda clearly is queer and is, like trying to come out, kind of. And she's, like, hiding it again. Like, she just keeps backpedaling. And that's probably for Che, for someone who's made so many strides to come out as who they are and not hide. That's probably really frustrating too, because now they're out and they're proud of who they are. And finally they feel good about themselves. And it's just bullshit. So it's hard. So I don't know how that's going to happen, because like Miranda's not been through the things that Che has. So I don't know if that's going to pan out. I don't know if she's going to go running back to Steve like an asshole. I think it's a careful what you
wish for. I think it's certainly a careful what you wish for. And
you know what I mean?
Even Carrie gave her the one line, like, you know, being alone sounds good in theory.
But when you actually get there...
Because Miranda says, you know, even if I didn't have Che, I think I'd rather be alone.
No, I don't think so. And then they had the age-old question. They all went out for breakfast. You still blow Harry? Well, if you've fucking seen fucking Yellow Jackets. That's like saying, yes, Jeff, there really is no fucking book club. Yes, that's what married couples do. When the bride walks down the aisle, maybe when she doesn't walk down the aisle, because we're not legally married, she's not got a big smile on her face because she never has to blow the groom again. Like, that's what you do when you're a married couple. You know what I mean? Like, when we were young, we gave each other oral. Like, when we're old, we do too. Like, it's just a thing you do in relationships. But, she was checking her father's penis for cancer. Is that what she told the daughter? That's what she told
Lily, yeah.
After she hit her head in with the fucking
Lily
door.
Lily walks in the door in the bathroom. She sees Charlotte down on her knees with undoing the belt and
Harry's belt.
And she slams the door in her face.
But the funny thing is that these women who were older and like in marriages, like Carrie obviously is now a widower and Miranda is now going to get divorced. And she's not sucking a lot of pain lately. Like, they were so like put off by the fact they couldn't believe anything. That they couldn't believe the fact that Charlotte was still performing oral sex on her husband.
Because their relationships have gone polar opposite directions. It's impossible for them to just feel that Charlotte's picture perfect, almost storybook life is picture perfect.
And her marriage is still happening and they're still like having like kind of like raunchy fun sex.
It's because part of it too, I think that show really presents them all as individual women that come together to share their tales and goes, but it's really not that case. Because like Charlotte is very much part of a family unit. Oh,
big time. She's very much a mom. And
Carrie has always chased the family unit. Yes. And Miranda's always like trying to figure out if this is the family unit she wants.
Yeah, Miranda's always been confused with everything. She's not sure. She's always mad about something. She's always up and down. And she's always changing her mind.
Never satisfied.
Never. She kind of like has that wanderlust. You know what I mean? Carrie finally found what she wanted, and then
it was taken from her.
It was taken from her. Samantha is Samantha, and we're seeing her through text right now. I hope we see a lot of more Samantha. I hope that happens, but it won't. So my birthday's coming up, so hopefully it's going to be fun. I'll let you know about it next week. I'll let you know if it's a sink or it's a swim.
No pressure.
No pressure, Robert. But you know what I mean? Do you have any other weird theories about Yellow Jackets? Do you think anything else weird is coming up? I mean, I can't wait for season 2, but I don't want to wait forever to see my precious friends.
I am curious to see what the connection is between what happened in the past and what's happening in the future.
Right now? Or yeah. I want to see who else got out.
Yeah.
Well, I want to see what other grown-ups there are. In season 2, I think there's going to be more grown-up versions of the younger people. And I think that's going to be cool. And I'm excited to see it. I'm excited for season 2 to come out. If there's any leaks or spoilers or anything, I just want them to leak down into my situation. I'm going to have to find another show. God damn. But I'm so excited to hang out with you. I'm going to drop my socials. You can always find me on Instagram at 21st Century Rocker Mom. I'm always there. I'm just hanging out with ya. I've been doing a lot more lives. Like I say, they're changing some things on Instagram. I find out lives and exclusives. I'm going to be happy to share that with you because I'm not going to do OnlyFans because let's just call a spade. I'm not going to show my boobs. Gross. But also you can find me on Twitter at Tanny Candler. I'm always bitching and complaining on there. You can find me on TikToking it up. My account is now turned to private. We had some stalker issues. So if you want, you can request me. I will bring it back to you. I will say, sure, come on, as long as you're kind and you're nice. I like my TikTok to be a nice, safe space. It's a nice, happy, safe, inclusive space. If I accept you for my TikTok, you belong here. Mm-hmm. And
kindness wins.
Kindness wins every time, all the time. You will always win with kindness and friendship and loyalty and loveliness. And let's join the positivity army. Not everybody's positive, but you know what? I am. Let's keep it that way. Let's go that way. I will see you on the World Wide Web. Pretty soon, I'm getting another Tandy Candler and fun fan page on Facebook. If anyone still does Facebook, we're going to get a fan page. Let's do it. We're going to do a lot more fun things on YouTube. You can find me at Tandy Candler channel. And if you would just click subscribe, I will see you there every week. Rob, where can they find you?
At Rob McZob on Twitter. At Rob McCallum Films on Instagram.
And I'll obviously
tell me
tag
what
in
you
this
think.
post.
What's your buzz about buzz Yellow Jackets? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I want to see it light up those
It is
comment
probably
section.
the most recommended show, maybe next to Squid Game, that I've done in the last like 2 or 3 years.
Absolutely. Like, way to go, Showtime. Like, out of the park. Pow! Like, give it to us in the
Got the
comment
Golden
section.
Pow Award.
Big time. Put it in the comment section. What are your best moments? What are your favorite things? What are your conspiracy theories? What do you think? What do you think about Yellow Jackets? We want to know what the buzz is from you. So join me next week for another episode of 21st Century Rocker Mom Podcast. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. And Rob, thanks for being here.
I love being here.
I want to wish you a wonderful week, and may peace be with each and every one of you. I love you. Love each other.
I want to wish you a happy birthday.
Ha ha.